everyone, welcome to our week 3 video. This week sees us leave New South Wales behind and head into South Australia. We stop at Peterborough, then we head kind of north to Glendambo, stopping at some excellent touristy things on the way, and you might have already seen that if you follow on our stories. But yeah, and then we make it to Coober Pedy and we spend a few nights in Coober Pedy, and some great time is had at Coober Pedy, and then we start the uninhabited track. And so the end of week 3 sees us hopefully getting to William Creek and finishing that part of the uninhabited track, but then we head on for more.
Yep, looking forward to it. Keep watching.
Yep, keep watching.
Magnetic Hill in South Australia. So you've got to turn your ignition off, select neutral, and turn all the brakes off. Plastic and aluminium cars roll downhill, steel made vehicles roll uphill. And those with hip and knee replacements better hold on. Anyway, so we're here, and I'm going to get Melissa to sit in the car. Get some in. So the engine's off, otherwise you'd hear that rattle. And she's going to take the handbrake off and we'll see if the car rolls uphill. So you can see that's downhill, down to the gully, and that's uphill up to the magnet. And look, it's moving, it's rolling uphill. How cool is that? How cool is that? Awesome. Bucket item ticked. Magnetic Hill. How cool. Pressure's on now. What?
and it was fantastic. Really great
nice
place. We are headed today to Marla, and then hopefully lunch at Marla, and then we're going to hit the Uninhabited track. We're a bit excited about hitting the Uninhabited track.
Very excited.
There you go, very excited. So morning, everyone. We are in Uninhabited. We stayed the night here at the Pink Roadhouse Caravan Park. Had a lovely meal last night at the Roadhouse, and helped some people camp next to us with a tyre issue that they had before we went for dinner. But this morning we found we had a slow leak in one of our van tyres, so we've had to do a little bit of, well, Brett's had to do a little
plug in it, and we'll just see how it goes. It was only a small hole from a little stone, so hopefully that's all it needs. Still got the spare if it doesn't hold.
Oh,
Luckily,
yeah,
I've got the tyre check.
yes,
Keep us informed of what they're doing.
it's really handy.
you for watching. Please like and subscribe and follow us on our socials.